and so he picked me up on that. But you see, since I'm very non-judgmental, I've had dates with catching the bus. So whether a man had fancy car, that never it never entered the equation.
Mm.
It was either I like the guy and he can be stone broke. It's the it, I always equated the love I felt for a guy. Uh, you know, the extras is nothing. It's just how much I cared for, or the amount of fondness I felt,
Right.
for the guy.
So you and Dan went out and he picked you up?
Well, we did go to one movie, and
What movie? Do you remember?
it was. I remember this woman on a swing.
Was it a drive-in?
No, it was a regular.
Or was it regular
Yeah.
theater?
Yeah.
So where were you living when you were working at the restaurant? Your parents' house?
Yes.
Your parents' house. The same house you grew up in?
This was the house in Oleva,
Okay.
a much nicer house.
Okay.
It was a
So
very
that
nice.
was Cam's house.
Cam's house.
Yeah, Amy Cam's house.
All right, because that's the second one. That's
Mhm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then you dated Kevin's father for 4 months, and then you got married.
Yes.
And how long were you married to Kevin's father?
4.5 years.
4.5 years. Okay. Where did you live for those 4.5 years?
Actually, we lived on Date Street, the housing, and for a year and a half with his mother
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Where does his mother live?
in Kamki on 10th Avenue.
Then you decided it wasn't working, so you
Yeah.
you left.
But I knew I made a mistake right after the wedding.
How did you know?
I just knew. In fact, I almost, when I think of the Runaway Bride, I wanted to do that
Mm.
because I knew I was making a horrible mistake.
Was it his attitude? You don't have to give me details.
No, it's not his attitude. In fact, he was a very pleasant, he made a very strong, good impression on my mother.
Okay.
Mm.
My mother was the first one. She said, Peg, don't let this one get away. Marry him because, he's tall, attractive, very, very pleasant man.
He's Japanese, right?
Yeah,
Japanese.
but very tall for an Oriental.
Kevin's
Very-
tall.
Yeah.
Taller than Kevin. Kevin is 6'3", right? Or 6'2"?
No,
Oh, no,
Kevin,
he's 5'11" and a half.
5'11" and a half. And the father is about the same
Same
height.
thing.
Yeah, same height. In fact, his younger uncle is taller. Jim is like 6 feet tall.
Mm.
So, it's, and I'm always one for, the guy had to be taller than I was.
Mm.
I never even looked at a short guy.
I thought
How
that didn't
cool,
matter.
yeah.
I thought it was about love.
No, but that was one of my, every woman has a checklist. It had to be tall and had to be pleasant and somebody that I could imagine living, years with.
Right.
Mm.
Not necessarily eternity, but, a reasonable length of time.
So how old was Kevin when you left his father?
Oh, he was about 2 years old.
2 years old.
Yeah.
And then where did you go?
And then I lived for a time with, I went back home to mom
Okay.
Mm.
And where was that?
in Oleva Heights.
Okay. So still Leva Heights. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you know where Leva Heights is? I don't know where that is.
I'm not exactly sure.
Where's
But that's where people of a high income live.
Mm.
It's a high income.
Is it on this side of the island?
Is
Mhm.
that like toward? Oh, it's on this side. It's not like towards Kamuki. No.
No,
Oh.
it's on the other side. Very nice neighborhood. Like I said, my next door neighbor, the Mouse, he was head of the, um, what was that now? The Board of Health. And the Sutherlands, they own their own business. So that's the reason I had so many babysitting jobs. Because from them. And even next to us, Dr. Shear, he was a dentist. So I used to babysit for him too.
They couldn't afford it.
Yeah. So it was all people with money.
So you went back home. How long did you live at home for? Back to your mom.
Actually it was in months.
Okay, less than a
Not
year.
that long.
Yeah, not that long. And
What did you do? Did you go to work? Did you work then?
it was such a short time. No, I didn't. I
Okay.
didn't work.
Okay.
And anyway, in the meantime, I called Dan.
Mm.
Oh, so you had his number.
No, I didn't have his number, but
He was calling the house talking to grandma.
yeah, he was calling, and Grandma would say, "Oh, there's a strange young man always calling to ask if Peggy was happy," and she would say, "Yeah, she's happy," and this and that. But funny, just about the time when I was thinking of leaving, leaving Kevin's father, he started calling. I don't know why.
He did. He started calling
Yeah,
after like 4.5 years.
yeah.
Wow.
And I don't know why I made such an impression on him. We
He
didn't.
said, right? Didn't he say love at first sight? Isn't that what he said? Like, I
Yeah,
thought I remember he said
Yeah.
that a long time ago.
yeah.
Like he
Okay.
said he knew or something.
Mhm. I don't know about the father.
So you called Dan.
Yeah, I called him because I knew he liked me from what my mother was saying, that he's been calling. So I had to scout. I had to look through the entire because there's so many Takushis, and so finally I called this Daisy Takushi,
Yeah.
and this is like the 7th call.
So you're calling all these Takushis?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
calling
you're
all
calling
the
them.
all the Takushi, and then finally this woman says, "Oh, I think you're talking about my slot person." The person who picks up the slot, and she said, "Oh, I know his number." So she gave me the number, so I called him.
But she wasn't related to him?
No,
No, she just.
Even
had
though
the
her last name was
Yeah.
Takushi?
yeah,
Wow, that's interesting.
yeah. Because my nephew Randy is married to Didi Takushi, and they had to run down immediately down to the Board of Health to find out if they're related.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine from being Miss Takushi to Mrs. Takushi?
There's no name change.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Should be like, well, I get to keep my maiden name, really?
Really, huh? Save on monograms, huh? If she had monogram towels, yeah?
So Dan, his primary job when he was younger, he what do you call it, slop
Worked
person?
on-
Yeah, slop the hogs. And he picked up garbage from they had a huge route. Because in those days, they had slop men.
Instead of garbage man? The
Yeah,
slop?
he was a, garbage man.
Okay. And then he would feed the pigs on a
Yeah.
farm? But he just worked on the farm, or he owned the farm?
No, he just worked because his older brother, Frank, who owned the farm.
Okay, so he was a family owned.
Yes.
Okay. We have to take a break in a sec because the disc was. I have to put another disc in.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll give you a break.
Okay.
And
That's good.
no more sweating.
That's good.
You had the question about. I think before you mentioned you were like raised by Chinese or something like that, right?
You have to ask that later. 'Cause
Yeah,
the
that was
disc
one of the
is-
questions that you had.
Yeah, the disc is almost full. I remembered some some story about being raised by Chinese women,
Yeah, like a Chinese.
and I think it was it your grandma or your
Oh
mom?
yes, my Henry Cam's mother.
Uh-huh.
Oh, she was a wonderful woman.
Oh.
And Grandma laughingly told me, said, had I left her, had I left you with her any longer, I would be talking Chinese.